Yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Fade, and you'll listen to Attack of the Beats on IllMuzik.com. 5 beats, 5 reviews. That's what I do. And this is the first Attack of the Beats of the 2021-2022 beat battle season. And we'll get into it right away. First up, we've got 804 Sizzle Boy with Odin, Sun, Thunder, and Love. All right, let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was 804 Sizzle Boy with Odin's on the Thunder and Love. I think that's what it's called. Okay, so for this one, you know what? I like those strings, man. Those strings are definitely on point. They just sound really nice, very, very smooth and all that. And the drums, I wasn't sure at first, but then as it came in, and I just heard all this crazy percussion, like, good job on that, man. That was really, really good. I like that. I just think the thing is that it's just missing some sort of lead, because it just sounds like those strings are nice, but they should be in more like in the background, not so much like a lead or something. Unless this is what you're going for, you have this as a lead and maybe have, let's say, some vocals on top or whatever, something like that. But I really like the strings; they sound nice, and the drums, man, with that percussion, that was really, really good, you know. And plus, I wish there was more of like a bass line, you know, to really add to that or something, you know. I just think that the whole thing overall, it just sounds good, but it's more or less like a starting point that you can start adding some more stuff to it to give it a little bit more finesse, if you will, something like that. But for what you have, I really like it. It's really, really good. All right, so next up we got Fury Beats with Is It Right? Let's check it out. All right. I guess that was Fury Beats with "Is It Right." This one I like. It sounds like a sample, right? And I'm assuming it is. And this type of sample, though, is that it's a type where, see, I was waiting for like about, let's say, 8 bars in or something, where you would have or maybe 16 bars in, where you have that change up. So you bring it down like a low pass filter, you know what I mean? That type of style. Now, you don't have to do that, but that's traditionally what, I would hear when I hear a sample like this, right? So it just sounds like that type of sample, that type of beat, So that's what I was waiting for. But, you just kept repeating it, and then you had, like a little bit of a change up where you just triggered it a little more. And that's okay, but I just was hoping there'd be like more of a variation, where you had like that, like a little bit of a breakdown where you had the low pass, and then maybe bring something else on top or something, whatever. But, like I said, you don't have to, but that's like traditionally, I guess you could say, is that's what it's supposed to be. But I like the drums. They sound nice. I was hoping the snare would smack a little more, but then as I listened to it a little more, I realized, no, this fits. It's really good. I just think that the low end is missing again, because I was hoping for the sample to be brought down like with a low pass. But other than that, though, I do like it. It's good. It's a head nodder and stuff, and I would love to hear some vocals on top of this one. But yeah, I like it. Good job. Next up, we got No Nonsense Beats with Cool and Calm. Let's check it out. All right. I guess that was No Nonsense Beats with Cool and Calm. This one's interesting because I think that you have all the pieces that are needed. I think the problem, though, is just the mix. Like, it just needs to be tweaked, right? Because as I'm listening to it, it's like, yo, it's a nice beat. It's just that I'm not, like, for me, I'm thinking, okay, put this over here, put this over there. So, like, for example, the drums right off the bat, like they sound a little thin compared to the sample itself. So I would, try to thicken it up a bit, and they're a little narrow because they're thinner. They sound a little narrow down the middle. So maybe try to just thicken it up, spread it out a bit more. Maybe bring it in stereo so you can kind of manipulate it a bit, something like that. And the bass line I can hear, but I want to hear more of it. It's like it's very, very chill in the background. It's hard to hear the bass line, so I would bring that up a bit more. And the horn is good, but I would make use of the space, right? With a horn like that, especially that you have different parts of it. I would definitely have that, like, on the left and right, bring it in here and there and stuff. Maybe even just have it floating left to right, if you could do that trick in your DAW or whatever. But I would just do that with the mix, because the piano sounds good. I like the loop. I like that little other piano that you brought in afterward, like the little piano twinkle or whatever. And But it's just the mix. I just think that everything just needs to be tightened up with the mix, and I just think that you need to make more use of the space. And then, of course, like I said, the bass line bump it up a bit, and the drums need to be, just spread out a little more and thickened up a bit, because, and then, of course, match them up with the bass, whatever, match the kick up with the bass, I should say. But yeah, just some mix adjustments, I think, is what's needed, because the beat itself is good. It's just the mix. But other than that, though, it's a good beat, though. I like it. All right, so next up, we've got On the Calf with Cabin in the Woods, a lo-fi tale. Let's check it out. Alright. Okay, so that was On the Calf with Cabin in the Woods, a lo-fi tale. Now, this is definitely lo-fi. I like that. It's a nice style. Some lo-fi beats are kind of boring or whatever, but this case, it's not. It's nice. I like the vibe to it. And what stood out to me was the fact that your bass line, it's heavy, but it's not like it's a heavy sounding bass line, but it's not heavy in the mix. You know what I mean? It's very hard to get a control of a heavy bass like that, like a sub bass or something. So I don't know what bass you're using here. I guess somewhat of a sub bass, but it's very hard to control that. So it's good that you did that in the mix. It does sound good. Now, of course, I like the lazy drum style, the lazy drum track and all that. It just fits very well because it just gives it a very mellow lo-fi vibe, right? So that's very important, the bass and the drums. But for me, it's the keys, right? Like the keys sound really, really good. I was just hoping that you'd have a couple parts where you would take it out, because it just kept repeating over and over. Because with this lo-fi style, I wanted to hear the keys taken out for a part and just have the drums and bass. I mean, that would just sound so chill right there. Like, just chill, because I mean, I don't make lo-fi beats, but when I listen to them, though, I like the ones that are like that, where it gives it like some breathing room, you know what I mean? So whatever it is you're using for your mix, like, just kind of take out a couple parts here and there with the keys, just to chill on it for a bit, and that way it'll just give it a really laid back vibe, because you're just chilling on the keys for a bit, you know what I mean? So anyway, try that. But that's what I would do, because that from what I've heard, with lo-fi beats. But other than that, though, everything just sounds really good, well put together, and it's just the keys that need to be taken out here and there. All right, so next up we've got the last beat. It's Raymondo with Look. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Raimondo with Look. So this one surprised me because at the beginning I didn't know what to expect with the strings, because I don't know if it's like a cello, violin, or whatever, so I'll just call it strings. But I really like the string work that you have in this. It really stands out, and even though it's like it just repeats over and over, or whatever, it just sounds nice, like it just fits, so that's what I really like about it. And the low end is there. It just works well in the whole mix. And I think it was just, if anything, it was the drums. It was like the drums. I think the kick was like just slightly punchy for my liking, though, just slightly punchy. But it was the snare. The snare is what took it away from me, because it's one of those snares that it's like in stereo, and it just sounds like it's in the back of my nose or something. It's like, it's hard to explain, but it's just there. It's just kind of, it's a little too piercing, so with that style of snare, it just kind of screws up the mix in a way. It's hard to find some good drums sometimes. Sometimes I'm just spending forever, it seems, trying to find a good snare. So I stay away from snares like that, where they're just like, they have this like piercing sound or whatever. So it's not too bad. It's just that for my preference, I'm not crazy about snares that sound like that, so but other than that, I like it. I like the way the track moves. It's got a good vibe and everything. For me, like I said, it's just the drums, the kick just slightly punchy, and the snare, I would change it out. I would just change that out. And but other than that, I like it. It's a good beat and a solid mix. Alright, so that's it for me. I'm Mr. Fade. This is Attack of the Beats. Keep sending your beats in, I'll keep reviewing them. And my favorite beat is, drum roll please, On a Calf with Cabin in the Woods, a lo-fi tale. Let's check it out.